5. This is me, Stephen Haggerty, and today we have my good friend, Mr. Chris Richards, founder of My Hypno Coach. How you doing today, Chris?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Number 10. I am 10 days in on this journey. I cannot quite believe it, but hey, we're here.
And this is where it all goes wrong.
This is where it just goes downhill. I hope not. I hope not. Listen, first and foremost, I ask all my guests, what is My Hypno Coach? What do you do?
My Hypno Coach is a consulting and coaching business where we help 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs and executives to essentially increase performance, leadership, and overall decision-making and effectiveness. That's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
I love that.
Mindset and hypnotherapy.
Other people go on for like 20 minutes.
Pardon?
I said other people go on for like 20 minutes. I'm just sat here like nodding.
Well, I don't think people tuned in to hear that. So let's get into the meat. Let's
jump straight into it.
If people want to see it, they can go to my website. Like it's all on there. Other than that, let's get into the meat.
I love that. What is the meat though? That's the thing. So for you, like I've known you for a while now. When did we first meet? 2014? No,
it can't have been then because I only started entrepreneurship in 2015.
I think it was soon after.
I'm fairly new.
Yeah,
in the grand scheme.
You're a young blood.
Yeah, I've caught up in many respects.
For anyone watching, Chris is actually only 16. He just
well,
really bad.
I shouldn't have trimmed the beard before I came on. To be fair, because I was at 12.
To be fair, yeah, you do actually look 16. As I said that, I went, no, people are going to believe that.
I don't age. I'm actually part vampire.
Chris is married. He's got kids. Like he's not 16.
Although some 16-year-olds. No. Anyway, what was the original question?
We're digressing. The original question. I don't think there was a question.
There was. I'm sure there was.
No, it's how long have we known each other?
Oh yeah, probably 2016, 2017.
Yeah, so a couple.
It just feels like longer.
It feels like an eternity.
Feels like an eternity.
So for as long as I've known you, you've been doing My Hypno Coach, right?
Yeah, because
I'll tell you what it was.
No, I'll tell you what it was. It was one of the Christmas functions 2 or 3 years ago.
Was that the first time you came?
That was one of the first times we properly met.
Yeah, so that was 2016. You came to the 2016 one. So that's three and a bit years. 3 years and 1 month since we first met. But yeah, so since I've known you, you've always been doing My Hypno Coach, but as I've got to know you, you've changed it a little bit. It's adapted, it's evolved. Talk me through that journey of when you first started out and where you are now with the business.
Well, let's see. When you met me, I'd already gone through my Amazon dropshipping phase.
The classic Amazon dropshipping phase.
Yeah, I'd already done that white labeling and stuff.
Yeah. I'm guessing that didn't.
It was a good business. Just Amazon changed the rules and it all went downhill really fast.
Yeah. It's always someone else's
fault. So I had to get out quick.
Yeah.
Cash out. But before that, in 2015, I was doing the Les Brown event. I was doing investments, and capital ventures with money that I'd received from the army. For those who don't know, I spent 15 years in the military. Doing various jobs, which maybe we'll go into, maybe we won't.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd already done that. I'd done the Amazon, the business investments. I'd invested in people's books, capital ventures, that kind of stuff.
This just sounds like you burnt a lot of money with no reward.
Oh, I really did. No, I did get a lot of really good reward out of it, not just from tangible. And the experience you get. I'll tell you what it really was. I went too big too fast without a mentor. I went all in to a kind of winging it.
Yeah.
With a very happy-go-lucky, how hard could it be mentality. Like, what could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
But let's see. At minimum, in all of those, at minimum, I made back the same amount as I put in.
Okay.
So you can't argue with that. I mean, that's anyone who's done investments realizes that is a win sometimes.
Yeah. Especially if you're testing the market.
Yeah. for other things, I made a bit of money. I mean, I didn't get rich from it, like it was promised. Damn it!
Yeah.
I didn't
You mean
become
the YouTube advert lied?
Pardon?
The YouTube advert lied?
Yeah, I didn't become a millionaire overnight working only 30 minutes a day. It's weird. Imagine that. But yeah, I got sucked into that lie.
I can imagine you're someone that, with that sort of thing, you get sucked in so hard, and you're just like always trying to justify. No, it's going to work. It's going to work.
Well, that's the thing. You know me. When have you ever known me to be, temper my responses and my actions? It's like if I do it all in.
Yeah.
And that has served me actually. Because even if I didn't have a clue, as long as I went all in, and I was mitigating my risk as much as I could, but ultimately I was getting all into it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going a damn sight further than my counterpart, who was umming and erring and stuck in planning mode.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to it. I'm not a big fan of burn your boats anymore, but whatever.
I don't think anyone should be a fan of that.
No, I don't know. There's still some people that buy into it, unfortunately, and they quit the job without any actual skill or experience in the field that they're going into, which is a shame because unfortunately.
Why do you think people are still doing that?
I would say it's mostly Tony probably helps. I know it's a line of Tony Robbins line in UPW does that sometimes.
It's all Tony's fault.
It's all Tony. Let's blame Tony. I don't think he's going to mind. But no, I think it's just a general personal development thing where a lot of people just copy what other people say, and because it's such a rah kind of message, and you can feel good about yourself because you can do what no one else can do.
Yeah,
and that's a big ego strengthener. I think people cling to that, and they start clinging to things that grow their ego as opposed to growing their livelihood.
Yeah,
and they don't. It's a lot harder to sell the message. Get really, really good. Work really, really hard. Leverage as much as you can, but it's still going to be hard. And most of the time, the improvements are going to be incremental.
Yeah, it's not as shiny, is it?
That's not as sexy. No, that doesn't give you the same kind of, high five, let's all become millionaires tomorrow. Yeah. But it's just one of those things. And honestly, I think it becomes a rite of passage when someone goes, by the way, if there's anyone listening going, oh, I was kind of hoping that would be the case. But,
sorry to your bottle.
Yeah, sorry. But no, it is a rite of passage. And I don't know many people that haven't thought in that way.
Yeah.
And then gone through the disillusionment phase into the, okay, real world, this is actually going to hurt more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Because what was it? I heard a quote from someone. I forget who it was. I'll probably find it. But it was something on the lines of, if people knew what it really took to be successful, nobody would start.
No. I've seen that quote before, but I don't have a clue who it's from.
I have no idea who it was, but whoever it was a genius.
Yeah.
because that.
Oh, no, I remember it was me.
Oh yeah, no, it was me. I actually did that. It was back in 1996.
Yeah.
But it's true. This is really hard, and especially I'm quite happy to talk about some of the more recent challenges that I faced, because it doesn't end. And and what a lot of people kind of need to come to terms with is, as long as you're shooting for something that which you've never had before, it's going to hurt.
Mm.
And to take the pain with the good. And a lot of people, I don't want to get all preachy or anything, but I'm going to. And
I don't want to, but this is about to happen.
But I will. But it feels
your
right.
seatbelts.
But no, I think pretty much anyone who's been in the game for a while, whether they be fairly new, I consider myself fairly new. Under 5-6 years, I still consider myself fairly new, even though a lot of businesses would have completely broken and gone away by now.
Exactly.
Which a lot of people don't give themselves the recognition for.
No,
that.
I mean, like, what is it? Like 80% of businesses don't survive the first year, something crazy like that.
Yeah. But people are like, oh, I'm in my third year and it's really a struggle and I'm really finding it hard to keep things going. I'm like, yeah, but you've already beaten 80% of the market.
And especially the ones that haven't got there's a lot of people out there that have like a secret job, right? That makes it look really shiny online.
Honestly, I don't know why they keep it secret, because
that's what I'm saying.
Really
like,
good at what you do.
Own the space that you're doing.
Yeah. What's wrong with saying, you know, I've just changed my niche. I'm going into this direction. However, I'm very aware I don't have the income or the leads coming in and the conversions happening to fully support my wife and 8 kids or whatever the hell they've got. You know, I do not, under any circumstances, support the burn your boats, quit your job.
Yeah.
You know, you can do it. But if you have passion and belief in yourself, you can do anything.
I think that's what's wrong.
No, I don't think that will be the case for a lot of people.
To touch upon what we talked about a couple of minutes ago, 2 things. That there's one, I think that's what's wrong with a lot of the motivational events at the moment that are going around. It's, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, even 1 day of like such state enhancement that people leave on like cloud 9, but by the Wednesday the week after, they're lower than cloud 0.
Well, the irony as well, and you'll appreciate this as a fellow mindset person, but the irony is that many people, if they go to something like 10x, some really lot of experience, a lot of knowledge comes out of that. A lot of people learn a lot of shit. Yes, there's a lot of sales involved, but
obviously
we're in business.
They've got to pay for that somehow.
But they still drop a lot of value bombs. I know people who have come away from that, and after having their scope increased, they've slowed and stopped progress because their scope has increased so much.
Yeah.
Now they're not making any progress because they're umming and erring on what to do next.
They've been in a room full of shiny objects.
Right. And the biggest difficulty I see in some people is when they are very intelligent, very driven, and very capable. Because deep down they know they could do pretty much any one of those things.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they try to do all of them at the same time, which isn't recommended unless you have an awful lot of leveraging ability.
Yeah. Team in place and all that kind of
stuff.
With
teams and processes and operations and all the rest of it.
But I think that's what you were saying earlier. It is that rite of passage almost in business where you have to go through, and not personal development, but just any business or any industry, that you have to go through those trial and error moments. There was a post I saw on Facebook that I commented on the other day, and this guy had just been made redundant. And which is sometimes awful, sometimes great, depending on who you are and what they get. But he was asking for advice. He said, "Look, what do I do now?" and all that kind of stuff. And everyone was writing like, "Oh, do Amazon, do this, do that."
Everyone's got an opinion.
Exactly.
They say it's like.
And my comment was like, my first line of my comment was, "It is completely irrelevant what other people are doing. You've got to focus on yourself." And the reason I wrote that is actually because I looked at what he posted in the group before, and it was like 3 years ago, and it was about having shiny object syndrome. So then if you then put a post like that, and then you've got 100 comments or whatever saying, "Hey, do this, write a book."
Well, even if it was quality advice, you never know if the people leaving those comments have got the thing that you want.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know this from your clients, same as mine. The amount of people that you look up to online in social media and whatever, and then you and I see what behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And you see, it's like, that some of them do genuinely have everything they say they've got: the money, the freedom, blah blah blah. But many of them are really, really unhappy. Or they're really stressed, or they're worried that the next decision is going to break everything.
Yeah.
And the higher they go, the more they feel they're going to lose everything. And all this different stuff. But when it comes to the idea of when people are uncertain, they look to others. That's, in my mind, perfectly natural. I mean, we've been doing that since the dawn of time. When we're not quite sure on what to do, we look to see what other people are doing. We've done it since caveman times. So I don't know what to eat. Is that safe? Well, that person's eating the berries. I'll try the berries, you know. And even in anyone who studies marketing understands that you add that to your marketing.
Yeah.
Because what is it? I think it's Eugene Schwartz or Dan Kennedy or someone, but it's people buy things that other people buy.
Yeah.
Because they're not quite sure if it'll work yet. And if they're buying it.
And it's that, then it creates that desire of want, you know. If you were walking on a hot summer's day and I walked past you with an ice cream, you're probably going to think, I kind of want an ice cream.
Yeah, they don't look sweaty. I feel sweaty. They don't look sweaty.
Exactly.
And they've got ice cream. Maybe the ice cream will take away my thing. But actually, there's a level of logic to that. You just got to make sure that the person you're taking advice from actually genuinely has the things that you want.
Yeah.
And has gone through where you were. I mean, the biggest one that I kind of have been shaking my head to for a few years now is the ones who have said, there's never been a better time to get into business. You used to have, or let's say do video. You used to have a TV channel. Now you can do video. And I'm sat there going, well, yeah, but so can everybody else.
Yeah.
Like the old challenge, yes, the old challenge is gone, but that doesn't mean there isn't a new challenge. By trying to sell your thing focused on, well, there's no this challenge anymore, but there is this one. There is the one that says anybody can do Facebook Lives. Anybody can make a podcast.
Yeah.
Many won't because they don't feel good enough. They don't feel ready enough. They don't feel they have the tools. They need to be told how to do everything.
Yeah. All of that
before they can feel confident. All of that stuff, which no judgment. So many won't anyway. And a lot of the time the people, what is it? There's that cartoon, people who talk and people who do. And there's very little traffic on the people who do line.
Yeah. It's easier to talk though, isn't it? Right? It's easier to
It is.
What you want to do and create and all that kind of stuff.
Well, even falling into the trap of telling people what you're going to do, gives you that release in the brain to say, yeah, well done.
Yeah.
You know, you said you were going to do a podcast. You told them that you were going to do a podcast or write a book.
Yeah.
They're really happy. They've congratulated you for writing the book, but you haven't written it yet. And you're wondering why your desire to do it is going down.
Yeah, I mean, I had that last year because I've always wanted to do a podcast. And last year I wanted to start the Founders podcast, which was originally going to be the name. And I had like guests lined up, all that kind of stuff, but I never did it, right? Because something stopped me inside because I wasn't sure about the message. I don't think it just was classic. Oh, you know, it wasn't the right time, but I generally don't think it was the right time in terms of whatever else I was doing. And I don't think if I did that, then this wouldn't have happened. So I completely get that. It's so clear.
Yeah, there needs to be a level as well in some people of just self-forgiveness, which is like, you know what, maybe it isn't the right time. You know, I could do the podcast, I could do the interview, I could do this, I could do that. Is that genuinely? People who lack strategy tend to do the shiny objects. People who haven't sat down and genuinely thought, what do I want?
Yeah. And
what would I need to do to get there? If they haven't done that at the beginning of the year, you find that after, you know, the first quarter or the second quarter, they tend to still be pottering around trying things.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they haven't done is figured out where they want to go, the outcomes of it, and then work backwards of what outputs do I need to get to that outcome? You know, what do I need to actually create and do and put out in order to get what I want? Yeah.
And how do people make that change then? Without going, you know, an hour's into this.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the shortest.
Keep it light, Chris. Keep it light.
Keep it light.
What's that just talking and doing, you know?
Pardon?
I said that's the interesting bit, isn't it? It's that step between the talking and the doing. Like,
there is the just do it.
Yeah, for me, I put the reason I set this up in the way it has because it's forced me to do it. It's put me externally accountable to a lot of people in terms of, you know, booking out, all that kind of stuff. But also the goal itself has to start on the 1st of January.
Yeah,
you cannot do it any other time.
But I tend to find that if you, I teach ego baseline, which is I don't know anyone else who's teaching it in quite this way. Please educate me if you do know someone who's teaching this way. But essentially, I believe that the job of the ego is to keep us, keep our self-image looked after. That means that we can't venture too far from that baseline point. If we go below it, then we start getting a niggle of something's a bit off. If we go more below it, I mean, you could put this to money or weight loss or, you know, body shape, health, whatever. If we go less than what we feel we should be, the emotions and the internal impulses start kicking in to get us to take action.
Yeah,
right.
Makes sense.
Okay. Well, what I've also seen is the opposite happening. That's the yo-yo diet. And of course, you get better, but then you're coming back to the baseline, and then you slack off, and you get better, and you slack off. Then you get the opposite, and you get people who, after an event or after a coaching session or whatever, yeah, absolutely. You know, the ego is there to keep us safe. So after an event or coaching session, we start getting great results, or we get an influx of income for whatever reason, and it goes up and up and up until the point where it becomes not us. And it's that mental thing that very few people can really put their finger on, that feeling of this isn't meant for me. And that is such a corrosive and dangerous feeling. The idea of this isn't meant for me, if you get that, your subconscious will get rid of it. Yeah. If it's not meant for you, then you're not supposed to have it. So it will get rid of it in some way. And this is where distractions come up. This is where self-sabotaging behaviors will come up. Massively. And the worst part is, this is a person who loses loads of weight and then not just returns to what they were before. What tends to happen? They go over. They overcorrect, right? Because the ego says, not only should you not have done that, but I'm going to be extra helpful and make sure it never happens again. Yeah. So let's put you a couple of links below where you were before, so that when you increase, it only ever gets to where you were. Yeah. Sorry? Let's kick you while you're down. Well, this is the thing. And a lot of people see like, oh, it's the ego. It's a negative voice. It's hurting me. No, it's there to look after you. It's there to love you. Yeah. And so when we make the ego our enemy, then we're essentially we're causing shame. We're building shame around the very thing that's designed to protect and love us. Yeah. So if you change that up and you start thinking, okay, well, this is what I love doing, which is like, okay, well, if I drop below there, then I am filled with the motivation to return to my baseline. And I just thought one day, I was like, what if I made the baseline higher? Yeah. What if I just changed the self-image so that whatever I'm at now isn't where I should be, and this is where I should be, and it's hurting me, and it's a toxic abuse of who I am as a human. You know when you gain too much weight, and you're like, oh my god, I'm disgusted by who this. You're like, not that you've ever done that, but I definitely have. I'm disgusted with the person I see in the mirror. I'm like, oh my god, you're so fat. Oh my god, do something about it. Like the real language within you can come out, right? Yeah, right. Well, to a certain extent, if you listen to it, you can't help but take some action. You're like, not another minute, not another second. I have to do something about this right now. Enough's enough. Well, I was just thinking, like, well, if all you need is enough's enough to create motivation to become, because people who, and they did a study on this, People who believe that motivation is a scarce resource that you have to get and eventually it runs out, and then you have to get more, tend to live their patterns reflect that.
So like external motivation, right?
Right. Now, there's nothing wrong with having external, but you need an internal inspiration as well. In my people who believe that motivation is infinite, that if I want to be motivated, I decide to be motivated. I'm like, you know what? Time to do this shit. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And my body and state catches up with that really quickly. And if you practice that in peacetime, then in wartime, when the shit hits the fan or whatever, you can do it. Well, and actually, for entrepreneurs, when the shit hits the fan and your back's against the wall, is when they have loads of motivation.
Yeah.
What I'm describing as the wartime, as the most difficult time, is actually when the pressure is off.
Yeah, I find that. I'm really.
A lot of entrepreneurs find that because they're so used to the chaos and the confusion and the challenges and the pressure that actually they perform their best when their back's against the wall and it's do or die.
That's why I have a habit or a pattern of creating pressure for myself.
Yeah,
so I don't do. Yeah, exactly. I don't allow myself. Well, if I allow myself, but I don't allow myself to be in that sense of, oh, everything's going great for too long, because I want not so much need, but I actually want, because I enjoy it, and that, again, that's okay. To have that pressure.
But it's about creating it on purpose.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if you don't create it on purpose, raising your expectations of yourself and raising that demand for yourself, saying this is who I actually am, and I need to start living up to that, is very different to the person who things are going well, they get the mission accomplished feeling, and then they automatically and subconsciously break something.
Yeah.
And this is the fun part, and this is why I always find, without exception, they always break something that they've already fixed before. Because as well as wanting challenge, we need certainty.
Yeah.
So we break the thing that we know we can fix. So we're like, oh, I just stopped doing lead generation. I was like, I don't know why. I just mess up my lead generation for a while until my money goes down, and then I feel the pressure, and then I get back into income generating activities, and then it gets better, and then it goes up, and then I get mission accomplished again, and then I go back down again, and just keep doing that. And you're essentially yo-yo dieting with your money.
Yeah, it's that's so interesting. Like I think what the biggest thing here with any of this is, a lot of people are not aware that they're in that cycle, right? So for example, with me and the pressure, I know that's my habit, or that's my pattern. But so also, I use it to my advantage.
Most people take pride in it as well.
Yeah.
They take pride in, oh, I'm a perfectionist, or I just love a challenge. I love a good challenge. Like, well, actually you don't, because looking at your behavior, you love a challenge. It's like people who say, oh, I love surprises. No, bullshit. You love surprises you like. If you don't like them, they're called problems.
If you had a car crash, that's a surprise. I bet you don't like it.
Right, exactly. So you like surprises you like. Same thing goes with challenges. You don't love challenge. You love the challenges you know you can overcome. That's where flow comes from. Flow state only comes when there's a high challenge meets a high self-belief and a high capability. That's when you create flow. If you lack challenge, you get bored. And if you lack self-belief, you get anxious. You've got to have both to get flow, which means that the people who yo-yo diet their wealth and their success, as you see it all the time, you can see people's their business just keeps doing this shit, rather than more of a steady flow, which is normal. We want to.
Actually, I would say it's the other way around. I don't think that is the norm. I think the normal is the yo-yo for most people.
Well, no, the normal is the yo-yo. The normal shouldn't be that shouldn't be the normal.
No, I agree with that.
Normal in my mind should be a steady up and down that isn't massive, like bipolar success,
and it should be almost predictable,
and an increased.
Yeah.
where you do have a drop, but then it comes back up, and then you just
over a set period of time, the outcome is still greater than the start.
There you go. So the correlation is
a
clear increase. 100%. But that can only be done if, as you move up, you reset your self-image to be that is your new normal. And then you go up, and then that is your new normal. Then you go up, and that is your new normal. And now, if you go back to where you were 6 months ago, you're no longer going back to your normal. You're going -5. Or -10. And so if you're not getting those pangs going, this doesn't feel right, this is wrong, I need to, that's where I should be, over there.
I need to be on the private jet, not
come on, it's normal. And visualization is very good at this. Your peer group is absolutely important when it comes to this sort of stuff. The inputs you're putting in yourself. I find that a lot of people, when you say, like, what's the big reason, like, what can people do? I find the biggest thing is that a lot of people wait until there's a problem to fix the problem. They don't say, okay, well, beginning of 2020, I want to be there. And if I'm entirely honest with myself, I realize that it's going to be very difficult and very laborious, and I may not even succeed in doing. I need to change my way of thinking to be someone where that is the normal. Otherwise, you're always doing a stretch goal. And if it always stretches, it has this elastic band effect, and it snaps you back to where you were. And the more you stretch it, the more you feel like, oh, this really doesn't feel like. And this is where the feelings come from that create the thoughts. By the way, most people have no idea this is what's going on.
No,
exactly. All they're really aware of is that they get this feeling of, my next decision could break the business.
It's that real high pressure situation that they put themselves in.
Like, this isn't normal for me. Oh my God. I mean, whereas if you're like, okay. I mean, I know you've got results like this, but it's like, okay, so one of my clients went from 30 to 60, 30 a month, give or take, to 60 a month. Very short period of time. Now that's usually quite dangerous, because if you don't immediately readjust your self-image, because of the immediacy, the speed that you've gone up, your mind gets an oh shit moment. And it snaps you back down as quickly as it possibly can.
That elastic band comes out of the closet.
The elastic band comes out. Well, it was already on the elastic. So it just snaps you back down. And of course, it drops you lower. And I confirmed it with it. I was like, so what happened? What happened the last time you went from 60? If 30 is your normal, what happened the last time you went to 60? Before you answer, I'm going to guess. I'm going to write a prediction. I wrote 20. Wouldn't you know it? She snapped back to around 20.
Funny that.
Because she went lower, because she knows she can go from 20 to 30. And because her brain is so much in uncertainty, when it's that far away from her normal, it says, what do we definitely know we can do? Because we need an ego hit. We need to feel good about ourselves, which means we need an achievement to do that. I'd love to be able to hear the people listening to this right now going, oh my God, that's me. We need an achievement a lot of the time, because people are generally human havings, human doings, or human beings. It's one of my things as well.
Trademark.
Where they either tie their self-worth and their self-love and their self-image to what they have, which doesn't have to be materialistic. It can be intelligence, humor, whatever. It's some kind of label, though. It's either a label or a thing. I am good enough when I can prove to others that I have intelligence. I prove I can have
funny kid in class,
What's that? Yeah, the funny, right. One of my clients prides herself on being the liked one. Everyone, I just love being nice with people. Oh, really? How's that working out for you when you need to pull people up for their behavior, when you need to actually step up to be a leader? And actually, the best thing for the business is not to be liked in that moment. Oh, yeah, that hasn't happened very well. Yeah. Whatever we tend to take pride from also tends to be attached to a fear.
Yeah.
So if we're like, oh, I really love it when people give me praise. Okay, well, how do you feel when nobody gives you praise? Yeah, that takes the wind out of my sails. Okay. Yeah. Go even further. What if people really think bad of you and they start talking to people and thinking bad of you? Oh, that really hurts me. Well, now we've seen there you go. That is what you tie your self-worth to.
Yeah.
So that's human havings. Human doings, these are my favorite. I love these. These are my all-time favorite. These are the ones that say these are the ones who unfortunately have usually had a pretty harsh upbringing, where they've learned through understanding of when their parents gave them love or didn't give them love and affection, because every child wants that, even if their parents are douche. They still want that. They need that validation as a child. Yeah. So
every human wants that rather than just
right. Absolutely.
One of the core.
As a child, you're trying to figure out what makes me wanted.
Yeah.
And when the affection is given, oh, well done, you've done well. You've done well. It's so tied to the result. Not you really worked your or even you've worked your absolute hardest. Guess what that person's going to grow up tying their worth to?
Yeah.
Suddenly, anytime business or work becomes easy, they're going to make it difficult.
Yeah.
Because apparently working hard means I deserve love and affection. Yeah. And none of this is wrong, by the way. This is just how it works. It's just how it works. But once you know it, you're winning because you go, oh, okay.
Yeah, the knowledge brings control, right? It's like once you know it, you then can start to control it.
When people have shame over the mechanisms that are acting up in their mind, that's when they have issues, because their mind, if you have shame about your own behavior, your mind hides it from you.
Yeah.
And it deludes you from it. But yeah, human doings will tie either hard work or achievement to their worth. So my value equals my worth. And I have lost count to the amount of 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs, 1-8-figure, who have this belief that we boiled it down, and they genuinely believed that the value that they put out, some of these people were doing like 72-hour marathon work sessions without sleep.
Yeah. So dangerous.
Right. But to them, they're like, oh, I love it. So it's not really work. I'm like, no, it is. You are pushing your body to do something it shouldn't do.
So our mind can justify anything we want it to justify.
Correct. So if we take pride from it, we're going to do it.
Exactly. And this is
but it works, because if we know that, we can tie it to what we do want to have, but do it on purpose.
Exactly.
That's the good shit.
And I think we've spoken about this offline before, but it's that whole like 24/7 hustle mentality, right?
No.
We're going to really touch upon this loosely, but it's that danger of people getting into that cycle of 72-hour work days. Like you said, I had a guy that wanted to work with me before, and we had a couple of calls, everything was, and everything I was saying, he was like, yep, that's me, like blah blah blah, and but he was so caught in this, no, I've got to work hard, I've got to work harder, I've got to work harder, I've got to work harder. And guess what happened? He had a massive burnout, had to be offline for like 2 months.
They'll work really hard. They'll work really hard until they burn out, and they redline for too long, and then they burn out, and then they spend that time recovering, and then they work really hard. They spend the time, and they just keep doing that. Work really hard, burn out. Yeah. Work really hard, burn out. But because, and here's the danger in that, is that when they take pride from their ability, from their grit.
Yeah.
This is human having. I am worthy and I am strong. I am worthy because I am strong.
Yeah.
Because I am resilient. And I need to prove that subconsciously. I need to prove I'm resilient over and over and over and over again until I alienate my entire family and friends, burn out, destroy myself.
And in quotations,
and I had 5 heart attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Winner at life, that one. So yeah, I mean, the human havings, the human doings tying to achievement, then the human beings. And by the way, the human being, like, that isn't the goal. Any of these at an extreme are going to kill you.
Yeah.
If someone takes all their worth from I am because I am, and they think they're really high awareness when they've got this, it's really funny. I'm so woke. I am because I am being who I need to be.
Yeah.
People who get tied to that don't realize that they're still tying their worth to value, to labels. I'm being who I need to be. Says who? I'm being kind. Okay, well, you're still being kind.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is the human being element is just a watered down version of the human having and the human doing in one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because now you have to do both. It's actually worse, not better. Like, I totally. Oh crap! Sorry?
Yeah. I said you're making life harder for everyone.
Right. Because like now you have to be it. Now it's so critical to your identity that you have to show up and you have to be the strong one. This one would be the leader who feels that they have to have all the answers.
Mm. And the sort of person is also the person that won't, what I find as well is that won't get help because they think they need to figure out the answers on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're not a leader until they can do it themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I ask for help, then it just says that I am whatever.
Yeah.
Weak or there's so many layers to it.
And this is the thing.
We can do this all day, can't we?
I know we could. I'm very tempted on this podcast to every once a quarter do a 2.5 hour just full on something like this, which I might bring you on board for on one of them.
You know I can talk for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, hence the word might. No, but listen, we're coming to the end here, but your journey has been through all of those, right? Because I've seen it. We've spoken offline. We've supported each other through stuff.
100%.
And that's what I find most interesting, because a lot of people out there think or have this illusion, like you said, that coaches or mentors or business leaders like Lord Alan Sugar or Richard Branson have got their stuff together. Yeah. And it's not, it's about that roller coaster trip that life is and always will be. Dan Meredith, as we both know, always says new levels, new devils, right? And I've nicked that, and I tell all my clients
every time you go into a different area, you're going to get hit with something.
Yeah, and it's what's really nice to see from you is the fact that your new level now is such a better and healthier place than it was 12 months ago, or roughly 12 months ago. So what are you now going to do this year with your new level and where you're at now?
I have lowered my desires, my expectations.
Nice.
External desires.
Yeah.
My big focus for 2020 is less of the I need to conquer the world, and more of the conquering of myself, mastery of myself, and simplifying. Rather than I want to do a podcast. I want it because a year ago plus, that was what I was like. I was like, I'll be speaking on every stage. I'll be talking on stages, and I was. I'll be doing this. I'll be doing this. I'll be doing this. I'll be doing this. And then I realized that I'd missed the first 7 months of my daughter's life.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. She's 2 now, or 2.5 now. I woke up one morning, and not only had I missed 7 months of my daughter's life, I had grown distant between myself and my wife. My elder daughter, of course, there was a natural distance there as well, because daddy's in the office.
Yeah.
Because I had to take over the world. I had to do all these big things, because
one more Facebook Live, just one more.
Yeah, another Facebook Live. I was doing 2-3 Facebook Lives a week. plus speaking on stage, plus writing my book, plus doing the which is the ebook, which is there now, but that needs an update. I was doing everything, and I was doing the content, and I was learning different courses, and you know, thinking about running a mastermind and this and that. This year, it's basically I've streamlined it, so I'll only be taking 12 one-to-one clients for the entire year.
Yeah, that's how I work it.
I only need 12 for the whole year.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. I work with a select amount of one-to-ones, and it works because it means that we've got more time with them.
And you build that intimacy connection.
Yeah.
Like, you can serve them on a much higher level. So yeah, I definitely moved into quality of service and quality of connection with myself and quality of life. Like at a certain time, I'm out the door. Like that's it. It's family time. The only new thing I'll be doing is business to business type consultancy work.
Yeah.
That's the only new thing I'll be adding to the business. Otherwise, last year I didn't stand on a single stage on purpose. I was like, no, let's see what happens.
I like the way you had that in on purpose. I mean,
no, it wasn't purpose. I didn't go on any stage because the year before, if I couldn't get on the stage, then I made my own, and I ran 3 events that year. I was in various different events of other people's speaking on their stages. But no, last year I was like, no, I'm done. It wasn't producing the output.
Yeah.
Working towards the outcome that I wanted. So no, why keep doing something that doesn't work just because I feel good when I'm on stage? No. And I do love a good stage.
I've never noticed that about you, Chris.
No. And no one could guess that. No.
So you streamline and you strip back. It sounds more like you've gone back to the core. You know, you've gone back to actually who you want to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is what, if you can't be you, what else can you be? You know, it's that classic saying.
And the wonderful nature of you is that it can be whatever you want it to be. Your identity, your self-image is only ever your focus and the state you're in when you focus on it. That's it. Most people don't realize that. They buy these books of like 10 ways to build self-esteem. I'm like, why do you need self-esteem? Well, because every time I look at myself, I only ever see the bad shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever recognize the good stuff?
One of my
you did that.
Very short story, but one of my mentors wrote a book all about values. Very, very good book. And one of his early reviews was, I was expecting this book to tell me my values. And you're just like, oh, dude, you haven't got that at all, have you? Like, come on, no one can tell you your values. No one can tell you who you are.
No. I mean, one of the posts someone put up, which was something like, "Oh, I want to do this business and this thing, this thing. What should I do?" And everybody's got these long, as it happens, you know, Facebook.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's got an opinion. And mine was very simple, and it's still, as far as I'm aware, on that thread, got the most likes and engagement on it.
But it's not a competition, Chris.
It absolutely is.
Because you're winning.
Because I'm winning. The difference is I don't need to win to feel good about myself. I do like to win. And this is another thing. People feel ashamed of their values. Damn right I like to be acknowledged.
Yeah. Like,
there's nothing wrong with wanting to be acknowledged and wanting to be wanted.
Own the space. But
if you have shame around that, all you're going to do is keep sabotaging yourself. It's crazy.
But you've got to figure out who you are. Otherwise, it's all worth it. Listen, Chris, I'm going to give...
My comment on that thread was very simple. It was start. That was all it was. Start.
Listen, Chris, I'm going to give you, I've got a timer here. I'm going to give you 50 seconds to give the listeners 3 things that they can take away from this.
Oh, 3 things. Okay. Your identity is nothing more than what you focus on and the state you're in when you do it. Your sense of self-image will always control your external. Your internal will always control your external. So if you want to increase your external, you've got to increase your internal self-belief and self-image. And if you want flow state to create more action, faster decision making, and generally do more with less, you have to really believe in yourself, have a very high level of self belief and a very high level of self challenge in a new area of your life. And that will give you the flow you need, and make sure you have the support around you.
That was annoyingly good. Annoyingly good, that was. Listen, Chris, last thing, where can people connect with you? How can people get in touch?
Facebook, chris.richards01. That's my personal profile. Please hit me up there. I'm also on LinkedIn under Chris Richards Hypno Coach, or you can go to myhypnocoach.co.uk.
Was .com taken?
I actually got the .com just to make sure no one else got it, but there's not a website there.
Phew. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Chris, for coming on. This has been Founders365, episode 10 with Mr. Chris Richards.
Boom.